Hey guys, and welcome to day 13 of the July Scrapathon. If you haven't known, you don't know what I'm talking about, just click on the links below for the Facebook group and my introductory video so you can find out and hopefully join us. So today's challenge is called an Oldie but a Goodie, and what it is you have to make a layout or project using those older products you love but never got around to using. So it can be older product to you. So for example, if it has to be older product, not necessarily from the day it was manufactured, but something that you've had for a long time. So for example, I just got this paper pad here for Christmas. And it was actually made, it was Christmas 2016, and it was actually made in 2014, but it's new to me, so it's not an oldie but a goodie to me. Now, the Prism collection, which is what I'm using today, was made in 2014 again, but I've had that for 3 years. 2 years actually, and I've been scrapbooking for 3 years, so that's old to me. Now, so I know some people that have been scrapbooking for 10, 15 years, they probably have some really old stuff. But you don't have to go all the way back to 10 years ago. You could go to 5 years ago, or 3 years ago, 2 years ago. As long as it's not something you just bought that was manufactured a long time ago. So anyway, that was my rant. So I hope you really enjoy participating in this challenge. I sure did, and I really like how the layout turned out. As you can tell, I've already made the layout. So, yes, I'm going to finish this 2-minute rant, which should be under a minute, but I'm ranting again. So, I'm going to let you see what I came up with. Okay, so as always, I'm starting by trimming down this A3 paper to a 12 by 12 size, and then I pulled out the Prism collection, and it was made in 2014, and I got it in 2015, and I know that's only 2 years, but I've only been scrapbooking for 3, so I decided to use this, and because I also want to use a lot of this up because there's not too much left. So I started by cutting that awesome, what is it called? Like a checkboard sort of thing, and then I use the back side as another layer there. And then just to add a bit more of a newer stuff, I pulled out this Heidi Swap Marquee Love paper pad, and this is again from 2014, but I just got it 6 months ago, so it's new to me. So I just layered those 3 papers there, and I really like how that is looking. So I'm going to go ahead and glue them down. And the reason why I'm not using my ATG gun, but I'm using this this twist and glue, is because I want to be able to scooch the papers around before they actually stick onto the page, because I want to make sure I line everything up. So that's glued down, and they're not completely glued down because I might want to tuck something behind. So at the moment, they're just glued down at the bottom where I know there's nothing going to be tucked in. Okay, so now I'm trying to pick a picture that could work with this page. And I decide on using that one of my sister and our cousins. And I had a bunch of little bits and pieces, like really small scrap pieces that I just layered behind the photo, and I really like how that looks. So that pattern at the bottom is really busy, so I thought I would tone it down with some gesso, but then as I was looking at it, I decided that in fact it wasn't really busy, it was just in my head. Well, or on this layout, it's not too busy. So what I did is I just added a very, very thin coat of gesso, and not on the whole thing, so there's a sort of like distressed look to it, which matches the theme of the papers because they have a sort of cream base. So in some areas of the paper, there's more gesso than other areas, and I really like how that turned out. So I'm going back to that matte, and I'm not sure where I want to place the photo yet, and I'm just pulling that whole thing up and moving it around. And I thought I would place it up there, but I wasn't sure. But I knew I wanted to use that sort of matte, so I'm going to go ahead and glue all those little papers down, again using the same glue because I want to be able to scooch around things since there's like 10 pieces of paper there. And then the glue leaked, so I had no option but to use a photo the photo somewhere where that would be covered up. But I did really like it there where the papers had some empty space, and I did think it got slightly lost because of all the layers that have similar patterns to the papers that I used on the background. So I just pull out these black pieces, and I glued down the first one, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to add that second one, so I'm going to play around with it quite a bit, and I did cut out some of that. So I was trying to decide about whether or not to use that black paper and where to place it for a good 20 minutes throughout the whole page, throughout the whole process, and I think I deleted a lot of it. Okay, so then this is a sticker sheet from the Prism collection, and I want to try and use up as many of those stickers as possible. So I still haven't decided if I want to use that second piece of black, and I'm still fidgeting with it. I used a pencil to mark where I thought I had it, where I thought I liked it at some point. So I'm just fidgeting with that piece again, and then I decide to just move on and go back to it later. I might have even glued that down. I'm not sure. We'll see. Okay, so there was that pink frame that I've been trying to use for a gazillion years, and there's no pink other than it on the mat of the photo, so I wanted to put in some pink elsewhere. So I just stuck that frame there for the time being, and then in the meantime I took like sort of like a scallop border strip from the sticker sheet that I just had a tiny bit left, and layered that in as well in the paper, and that in like the mat behind my photo, just to bring in the pink, because the only pink is that pink at the top there, and then there was two yellows next to each other at the bottom, and I thought the pink just broke that sort of yikes. Okay, I can't say Greek words in English. I don't know why, but like that all yellow thing. Okay, so now I'm trying to figure out what my title is going to be, and I thought bringing some black on another part of the page would work, but these stickers are just too bold, so I played around with them quite a bit, but I'm just going to end up taking them off and using these Tim Holtz tile stickers in a little bit. I'm not sure where I want to place them yet, so I'm not going to pick any out, and then I decide I'm playing around with that frame again, but it's not really working, and then I'm playing around with the tag, which is going to be included on the cluster, and you'll see that in just a bit where I decide to place that, and now I'm fidgeting with those stupid black pieces again. It was just too much. It was being really indecisive. Okay, so I'm sorry guys, the battery died, so there's a bit of the video missing, but I'm just going to tell you quickly what I did here. So I took this border strip and cut a piece up there to bring in that same pattern, and then I took a strip of this orange paper again to replicate the pattern, and then this this half circle is a sticker from the sticker sheet, and I just brought it up there to mimic the yellow because I didn't really like this paper at the top. And then to add the black element, I just wrote the date using title using these Tim Holtz stickers, which I love. And you didn't really miss much there because I had to glue those down individually at least 10 times, and they were flying everywhere. It was just very irritating, but okay. So I'm going to continue making because it's pretty simple, and I don't know, it feels like it needs more things. I'm not sure what yet though. Okay, so now I'm going back to the sticker sheet because, as I said, I'm trying to use as much of it as possible, and I pulled in that diamond because it had the right colors, but I just couldn't figure out where to place it, so it's not going to stay on the layout. And I played around with the tab a bit more, but that wasn't working at this point either. And then I thought I'll bring in some wood veneer. So I have some arrows, I'm playing around with some stars, and then I decide that sticker isn't going to work there and just add the tab, and I really like how that tab looks. And then I thought I would add a piece of flare because I just love flare, but I'm not sure where to put it yet, and I wasn't really liking it. So I'm just pulling out a bunch of things that I might use. I also pulled out some sequins, and now I'm going through other basic gray stuff that I have, which are also old. I don't know when they were manufactured, but I got those 3 years ago. So I just pulled out that flag because I just opened the drawer and saw it there. And then I'm bringing in some chipboard pieces and seeing if I want to add anything, because those I think those are from 2014 as well, but they are again newer to me. I got them less than 6 months ago. I think I got them for Christmas. Okay, so I thought I could use that little family piece, and then I also thought I could use that glitter copper heart just to bring in a bit more of a fresher look to these papers. But I decided I didn't like those, so they will go in a bit. And then this package of wood veneer I got from Paris. And I haven't filmed a haul video yet because I was hoarding. That's their sort of collection type thing. I was hoarding it for a Paris album, and I'm still am because there's French sentiments in it and so on, but I thought I could use one wood veneer piece on another layout. So I opened it up and I found that photo piece that I'm going to layer on my photo, but I wasn't sure if I like that yet. So first I'm just going to take a Staedtler pigment liner, and I think it's these 1.0, and I'm going to double outline my page with just a messy border, and I think that just grounds the page. And I've been doing borders a lot lately. I don't know what's happening. And then again, because I was being indecisive, I just did what I knew I had to be done. So I'm writing out my journaling, and I think that pen is actually the 0.3. Well, I did my journaling in the 0.3. I'm not sure if I used the same pen to outline the page. Okay, so now I thought I needed a bit more pink in that cluster there, so I decided to just layer in that frame behind those black pieces of paper. And then this is a really bad idea, but I thought that maybe I could add a bit more black by bordering the whole layout on this with this black washi tape, but I only had enough to border the top and the bottom, and I played around with it and I didn't like it, so I just ended up throwing that whole thing out, and I wasted the rest of that roll. But I have lots of washi tape, so it's not a huge deal. So I decided I'm just going to commit to this wood veneer, so I'm taking this glue, and the reason I chose that glue and not the twist and glue is because the twist and glue has a warning on it that says not to glue anything down, not to use it on photos. So I'm a bit what's it called, overprotective not overprotective, but a bit panicky about that. Anyway, so I stuck that down with that other glue there, and now I decided I needed to do some mixed media because this was just too boring. So I'm just bringing in some more orange because there's a lot of yellow and there's a lot of multicolor, but the orange doesn't stand out too much. And then I thought maybe I could add some blue, but no, that did not work, so I just dabbed it up and it's all good. And I'm just using the packaging technique with some watercolor. So I'm adding enough paint to have a sort of border around my picture. Well, it's a sort of a circular border more than a border, but yes. And then I thought I needed some at the top, so I'm not going to do the packaging technique. I'm just going to use my brush and then dab it up quite a bit just to get a little bit of that orange color at the top as well. And I think that really changes the look of the layout, and I'm really glad I decided to do that. And then I thought I tried out those sequins, but I didn't end up liking them, so they are going to go off the page after I fussed with them a bit. That shade of yellow just wasn't working for this page, so they're going to go in a bit. And now I'm going to pull out these puffy stickers from the Atwell collection, which I've had for a year now, because I thought there might be some things I could use, but I was wrong. Nothing of this was working. So I knew I wanted to layer something between those pieces of paper there on the right, like where they're all overlapping, but I didn't know what. So I was playing around with a bunch of ideas that just were not working at all. So then I pulled out this tray and I found those hearts. And then I also remembered that I have a bunch of loose die cuts from other Basic Gray collections. So I just went through and pulled out all the Basic Gray stuff I have. So there's stuff from the Capture die cut set, I think that was a collection. There's stuff from the Hey Boy collection, and there might be some from the Hey Girl, but I don't think I pulled any of those out. And I also pulled out some cut aparts from the Simple Stories 24/7. A 6x6 paper pad that had some similar colors to this Basic Gray stuff, and those die cuts just really made this layout, I think. So anyway, I used 2 of those bingo cards in between the layers, and then I really like this vellum piece because although the picture is of cousins, they are really friends, so I thought that would be a nice addition, and it's just a little subtle embellishment because it's acetate piece and it's clear. I also added a little star to that cluster there, and now I'm going to cut out this what is that? It's a speech bubble, but I don't end up using that. And then I'm trying to decide which of these 3 circular things to add over on my photo. And I randomly added that yellow piece over the black and white, and I really liked how the black and white poked through the yellow. So in just a bit, you'll see what I'm going to do to make that happen. And then I also added that ruler to the cluster. And now here I go. I'm going to glue down those 2 pieces on top of each other, but the little triangular edges, I'm going to not line them up. I'm going to leave the black and whites poking in between the yellow one. And then just to accent that a bit more, I'm going to use this Pigment Settler liner, and I think this was a 0.1, and just outline the yellow piece. And I really like how that looks. I'm not sure if you can really see it on the video, but you'll be able to see it in the close-ups at the end. And now I'm gluing down that cluster there with this with my Yuku glue, because my ATG would just not fit in there, and also using a glue pen to glue down. I don't know what to use behind acetate pieces, so I tried a glue pen, and I think it's good enough. And then that little ruler piece is also die cut from the, I cut apart from the 24/7 collection by Simple Stores, which is also really old. I got that the first time I bought scrapbooking supplies. And I used up most of it other than those cut aparts, so I was really happy to get some of those used up on this page. And now that that big piece of pattern paper wasn't stuck down completely, so I'm just gluing that down, and I glued down that little piece, which I did pop up using some foam. And now I thought I could add some enamel dots, but I didn't have any enamel dots, so I'm just adding these gray stars, and I'm only going to add one near that cluster between the paper layers, and one near the wood veneer there where the photo is, because I just couldn't work out where to add the 3rd one, so I didn't use it. But I did use the same gray color, but I used a triangle at the top where the title is, just to bring in that gray. And then I'm doing some splatter just to add a bit more, I don't know, I felt like I needed splatter. And I'm using the same orange color as I used for the packaging technique, and just splattering it on to the page with a paintbrush. And then I'm dabbing some of it up just so it dries quicker. So here come the close-ups. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you participate in the challenge as well. So to enter the prize, as I mentioned in the beginning, just click on the Facebook group link in the description below and ask to join the group, where you can enter for the prize and see what everybody else is creating, and just a bunch of fun stuff. So I hope you come by, and don't forget to check out Melinda's video. The link will be in the description below. I can't wait to see what she came up with. So thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow.